It comes back to my original motivation. The decision never to take finance really came about from not wanting to have to answer to anyone else, really. Be that a bank manager, be that a venture capitalist, be that an angel investor. I like the ability to be able to make decisions very quickly and be able to change what the focus of what we do, or launch a new idea without having to consult with anyone else. And we've been offered, venture capital investment, and they still sort of contact us fairly regularly, and it's still something I really can't bring myself to do. I think that I see so many people who just kind of get worn down by that and having to answer to people, and it really doesn't appeal to me. For me, it was always the intention to kind of keep hold of all the equity from the start, really. I mean, that's particularly in the early days when you're building a business, you're not really taking a salary out of it. That equity is everything you've got. That's your future. Without that, you've got nothing. Particularly a lot of entrepreneurs, and I did in the early days, you're the only one working for the company who's not taking a salary. So, keeping hold of that equity is all important, because that's when, that's the payday in the future, really. The disadvantages not going for finance are you need to have a good sort of sounding board for your ideas, and if you go for finance, you generally tend to have that because whoever's put the money in really wants to make sure it's being spent appropriately. And if you're just there spending your own money, there can be the temptation to just ignore what everyone's saying. So if you haven't gone for finance like that, you need to have people around whose opinions you trust. Even if you choose to ignore them completely on occasion, but you need to know that they're there and you can trust in them. I think that's probably the biggest thing that you miss out on if you don't go for finance. I think you need to use both. And I have a problem sort of really drawing a distinction between marketing and PR. If you're doing them correctly, I think they should be one integrated strategy, really. There should be no real division between your PR and your marketing, because you need to have one consistent message going out across everything, really. And they both play off each other. If you've got really good marketing, that helps to drive your PR and vice versa, which I think a lot of people would draw a separation there, but it's never a good idea. I think the most effective PR and marketing campaigns work totally hand in hand. It's all ultimately, I think any kind of marketing or PR is all about that sort of communication with your audience at the end of the day. It's just different channels of doing it, really. So I think probably the main distinction is that with PR, you have less control over the end message, because obviously it's going through journalists and through the media, so it's going to be interpreted as they see fit. But at the end of the day, even with your marketing, that message is going to be interpreted by your customer. So you still face really the same set of challenges. I think now the real key thing with web design is it's about that sort of mix of simplicity and functionality. There are so many things you can do online now, and it's so easy to get carried away with things. It's about focusing on exactly what you want to achieve with your website. So if you're a business building a website, it's looking at who your audience are, what the messages that you want to convey to them, and ultimately what it is you want them to do coming to your website. Is it purely to provide them with information on your products? Is it to get them to achieve a certain goal? So are you getting them to submit their contact details? Are you getting them to actually buy the products like it is on our website? What is it? What's the aim of what you're trying to do? And then really keep paring things back and make it as simple and straightforward and obvious as possible for people. There's no doubt, though, that it's a really important marketing tool for businesses these days. So many transactions will begin with someone searching for things online, be it with Google, be it with Yahoo, be it with Amazon. It all tends to begin with search these days, and SEO is by far and away the most cost-effective way to get a presence on the search engines. You can throw all kinds of money at pay-per-click marketing, but you will get your maximum return off really good SEO. The real benefit of pay-per-click marketing is you can see whether those particular terms are getting you a return on investment, but ultimately you have to have the money to invest in that to really get anywhere. The only real way that you can build a sustainable SEO strategy is by just putting really great content on your website, stuff that people want to read, stuff that's relevant to your subject area, things that people will comment on and talk about, really. That's all there is to it. It's get out there and write things that are interesting and that people want to see. Starting from basic principles, I mean, things I know now that I didn't know at the beginning is the most important thing when you're starting up is cash flow. Beyond anything else, doesn't matter if you're making a profit, it's cash flow. How much money have you got in the bank? It's really, really dangerous to ignore that. And I think as an entrepreneur, even if you get someone else to come in and do your finances for you, you need to understand it. I've made mistakes before and sort of relying totally on other people to work that out for me, but unless you understand it yourself, you're opening the doors for trouble. The other things are, everyone says it, but it's so true, it's all about the people that you've got working around you. I think the temptation when you start out is to try and do everything yourself, and you can't grow a business like that. You've got to be able to, certainly if you want to build a large-scale business, you've got to be able to bring the right members of the team in and develop a business that can run without you. I think that's the key thing that a lot of people kind of fail on, that stalls a lot of people's growth, is you build a company but you put yourself so at the centre of it that nothing can possibly function without you. And that's something that certainly took me 4 or 5 years to realise was a really bad idea, because you can only work so many hours in the day before you start making mistakes and errors of judgment because you're so tired. So really developing it to the point where you can walk away, and I can go away for a couple of weeks and come back and know that everything will be running fine. That's probably the thing that's kept me sane in the last few years, is learning that lesson. A huge amount of our marketing effort is focused on word of mouth. So it's delighting our clients to the point where they refer other people to us, and we still to this day get over 60% of our business from client referrals. So that's always been really at the core of our strategy. I think that's the only way you can truly grow profitably, is through that, and obviously leveraging our own tools for sort of email marketing in particular to actually leverage that sort of client loyalty and grow from there. I think the single most effective technique for any business is gathering and utilising the permission to contact your prospects and your customers. So it could be through any channel. Probably the most relevant one these days is email, because it's very easy to use. Pretty much everyone's got it, and you can track it very, very precisely. But the core thing is building up what I call the kind of permission-based asset. So that permission for people to talk to you, and the details of those people who you know are really interested in what you have to say. And once you've kind of got their initial bit of attention, it's then doing everything you can to illustrate that you're the expert in your field, you really know what you're doing, and show them why they should be doing business with you. It's not about blatantly going out there and saying, buy from us, buy from us, buy from us. It's about building that level of trust. That's where marketing really works most effectively, and for a long-term customer relationship. In our company, it's all about that long-term relationship with our customers. We sell based on a subscription model, and we don't tie people into contracts, so we're all about having to make sure that we build up a long-term relationship. We only make a profit out of a customer if they're with us for a long time. We found with the recession that because of both of our solutions are really geared towards making things more cost effective and optimising marketing, we've actually found it's really benefiting us at the moment. We're doing record sales with both companies. With sign-up, we're finding that because email marketing in particular is very, very measurable and very, very cost effective, a lot of people are moving away from advertising budgets and putting things into marketing where they can get a definable return on their investment. So we're seeing a lot of people really now take email marketing very seriously. All those companies who've been looking at it and thinking, yeah, we need to get involved with this, but delaying things because they still had the budget to plough into traditional advertising, which they felt safe with because they understood it. And now sort of coming back and saying, our budgets have been cut, we need to look at something much more cost effective. Let's have a look at email. So it's really helped us there. And same way with e-tickets, really, because a lot of events now are being squeezed in terms of their margins. They can't put up ticket prices every year like they were looking at before, or if they do want to put up ticket prices, they need to look at ways of reducing the overall cost for the consumer. So if they can take a booking fee out of the equation and lock 18% off the price to an end customer, then they can maintain their sales, they can maintain their margins, and offer a better experience for everyone, and offer a lower cost to the consumer at the same time. So we've seen a lot of inquiries from events who've been realising this and realising they need to be a bit clever about what they're doing.